So what is exactly the Vaxee Xe? Vaxee stating it's a work mouse and a gaming mouse in one. Isn't that every mouse? I can game and work with my G Pro Superlight or my Model O. So that's what we're gonna figure out today. What exactly is the Vaxee Xe? So where I want to start with the Vaxee Xe is just a look over of the mouse, kind of talking about it. Then we're going to dive into a lot of shape comparisons because I really feel like this mouse sits in between a few other ones, and I really want you to be able to wrap up what you're going to have in your hand. But number one, looking over the mouse here. It comes in multiple colors. As you see, we got the white and black one, but talking about the coating, it's that matte, soft texture right there, really nice and grippy. Perfect example, Logitech G Pro Superlight. That is exactly what it feels like there. Nice matte, very, I don't know, even with sweaty hands, it still feels quite grippy. I really like the texture on it. Feels very premium. Now, one thing you're seeing here is the cable. You're seeing the cable's detached. It's not wireless. It is a wired mouse. It connects by USB-C, and the cable that comes with it, you can see you got these little teeth on the front, this little bracket. Bam, you put it in there, and the cable's in there locked really nice, hence with the brackets. We've seen that with Logitech again before, right? Now, one thing I noticed talking about the cable here is with that apparatus, it just makes it a little bit front heavy. You can almost see it dive down a little bit there when I hold it into the middle, and you feel that when you use it. That's one thing I don't like about the cable. Other thing is the cable's just slightly stiff. You see, watch the waves, how big the waves are, right? It breaks like up here. And you just feel that. It's just a very tight, stiff cable. If I pull out a Zowie, the Zowie C line with their new cable over here, you can see it starts wiggling a little bit more, breaking right down here. So cable's a cable, right? But even as bad as the Zowie C cables are, I'm gonna say the Vaxee one feels even stiffer. Now, a couple other interesting things you probably see on the mouse is this light right here, and then that button in front of it. That is not a DPI button. When you actually flip the mouse over down on the bottom, you have your DPI, which cycles right through that button. You have your polling rate, and then you have your click latency, and it goes 2, 3, 4, and 8. Yeah, there's only 3 lights, but whenever you click it, so we're on 2, then it gets on to 8 right there, down to the 4, and when you see the 2 lit up right there, that's how you're gonna get to your 3. And back to the light on the top of the mouse, it does go with that button, but again, not being your DPI, it's more of a multi-function button. Right now it's set to page down, and you can change it to 2 other, like shift and something like that, whatever. Anyways, multi-functions, 3 different options you can choose from. What you do is hold down your side buttons, press it, bam, it goes to the back one now, so it's on that function. Hold them down again, press it. Both of them will light up. It's on your 3rd function. I keep it on the page down function right there. And that button with the multi-functions right there, some may be thinking gimmicky. I mean, it's nothing new. We've seen it before in many other mice. Extra 5, for example, they do it in a lot of their mice, right? But you got to think about that again for work and productivity, whether it be page down or that shortcut right there, you know. But also in gaming, me playing like Ghost Recon Wildlands right now, if I want to use it for like an interact or maybe change my shoulder, something like that, something I don't use that often, but something that, hey, it's nice, it's there. It's honestly beneficial. I honestly like having that. And the cool thing is there's no software. This is all controlled right through the mouse. Now, taking a look at the bottom of the mouse here, as you're seeing, you have very big PTFE feet, very similar to Logitech on the G Pro Superlight. The front foot's almost exactly the same right there, and we are using the 3389 sensor. And as far as the feet right here, I mean, I had a great glide. I used the Extrafy GP1, still to this day, one of my favorite pads, not just because my name's on it, but I really love the pad. And then the Odin Zero Gravity, just 2 very smooth, silky smooth pads. And again, the mouse glides great on it. As you can see right there, very nice balanced glide. I don't get any drag, no nothing like that. It feels exactly like the G Pro Superlight whenever I glide it. It's very nice. Now again, these are the only 2 pads I tested it on, but all in all, a great experience across the board. Now, one last thing before we dive into some shape comparisons and me actually using a mouse, let's talk about the buttons. They are using the Huano Black 70 grams. These are not just clicky, they are stinking clacky. Now, one thing you probably just noticed in that sound test is they changed out that scroll wheel a little bit. A lot of the other Vaxees kind of had that Zowie type feeling, right? Very loud, very tactile, which I love for gaming. I do love this for gaming. I don't get any accidental presses. I know whenever I'm gliding it right there. This is, I don't know, this is definitely smoother, but still tactile enough. I don't think I'm gonna get any accidental slides, which I never did when I was gaming. It was still tactile enough. Very nice, low and recessed. I honestly really like the scroll wheel. Now, on 1 and 2, I did have a little bit of post travel. You can see I'm gonna press it down. That is all post travel that you're hearing right there, so. Hopefully the mic could pick that up, but you can see there's a little bit of extra play in the buttons. And what I noticed in game with that is it felt kind of springy with these switches, and then with that extra play right there, it wasn't anything that really messed me up. It was just something different. It almost felt like it was bouncing back on me, if that made sense, rather than a short press, bam, and I'm done. It felt like it kind of just bounced back on me, almost like a keyboard switch, if that makes any sense. All right, so now that we got a good look over of the Vaxee Xe, I wanna give you some really solid shape comparisons, because when I saw this mouse online, which I'm sure a lot of you guys have thought about as well, is, well, hey, is that the Zowie FK shape? It pretty much looks like a Zowie FK. Exact same thing I thought. But what I'm seeing online a lot is people are saying it's like a G Pro wireless kind of. It's like a different copy of the G Pro. Yo, this is nothing. I'm sitting here thinking I'm like, well, is it hitting me? No, it's not hitting me there. No, it is not a G. The only thing similar here are the feet on the bottom compared to the G Pro. The G Pro, it definitely plumps into your hand. It's like that egg in your hand over here. The Vaxee, you got a little bit more, I don't know, it's just a little more flexibility with it. The G Pro definitely sits into your hand a little bit more. So all right then, let's pull out the Zowie FK. Are they similar? Putting the Vaxee Xe in my hand and the Zowie FK. Very close. Now I have the bigger Zowie here, the bigger FK. It's the FK Plus or something like that. It is the bigger one. And that's the only one I could really come close to with the XE. So you're catching my jive. Yeah, the XE is a slightly bigger mouse. The difference you're gonna see here with the Zowie is it definitely comes to the back a lot more. You see, you got a little more plump and it comes off. The FK definitely slides to the back a little bit more. And as you're also gonna see in the middle, it gets a little bit slimmer in the middle here. Now, of course, since we got the bigger FK, it's really mild. But if you go to the smaller FK, it's more drastic where you feel your fingers kind of coming in a little bit more. When the XE is definitely more, I guess, true coming back. You still got the grooves right there, but it's a little more true, not as dramatic as a swoop on the sides as the FK. So is it a clone of the FK? No, it's honestly not, and that's exactly what I thought. I'm like, okay, well, heck, here we go. We got another Zowie clone. But no, it's really not like the Zowie FK at all. So I want to pull out this one here, the SteelSeries Sensei 10. Who expected this one to come out, right? And when I put these in the hand, they are so close as far as just that core experience. They are different, but as far as that core experience in the hand, very, very similar. And if you just look at them top down right here, you can pretty much see that. Very gradual grooves on the side right there, slight slope on the back. Now the SteelSeries Sensei 10 is gonna be a little bit more. You can probably tell that when you look at the back right here, it swoops out a little bit more on the back than the Vaxee. I'm gonna say mildly, but enough for you to notice. It really is. But now as far as that center grip, where I said it's not as dramatic as the FK, that's what you get over here on the Sensei 10. Same thing over here on the Vaxee. Now, when you put them in your hand and you start dancing around with it, that's where you notice the difference with the Sensei 10. That swoop on the side right there, you're gonna feel it hit it in the back of your palm over here on these two corners a little bit more. Coming over to the Vaxee, you still get it, but it's mild. As you can see over here, it's almost not touching at all, but it is resting back here for me. But as far as, again, that core grip style, it's the exact same. I would almost call this like, if you're gonna call this a medium mouse or a large mouse over here, the Sensei 10, I'd call this a medium plus. if that makes sense. So we got large, medium, plus. The biggest difference here is, again, that swoop on the tail end. So hopefully that comparison made sense, because this is honestly the closest right here. It really is. If you take that dramatic swoop off the back of the Sensei 10, you have the Vaxee Xe. That is the best comparison, hands down. So hopefully those three comparisons could really help you out. One other thing I wanted to mention, just for some other people, because I know a lot of people have used the Glorious Model O, same with the Zowie FK, right? That's what it feels like. If you use the Glorious Model O or the FK, and that's all I've used before, many people probably haven't used the Sensei 10, right? Think of it as a plumper Model O. That's exactly the best way to put it right there. It's a plump Model O, you know? But again, comparing it to the Logitech G Pro Superlight, guys, again, it's not at all. It's not at all. These are our three winners right here as far as shape comparison. But the great thing about the Vaxee Xe, talking about those mice right there, I really think this is a very safe mouse, a very universal mouse as far as core features, functions, and then in the hand, which I think is kind of what Vaxee is saying. It's a gaming mouse and a work mouse. You know, you got all this flexibility within it. You know, a very universal, safe shape that you can use for long hours at the desk, or long hours at the desk gaming, which I guess both of them are at desk. But again, it's very safe. I think a lot of people can get this in their hand and really jive with it and have a good time no matter what you're doing. Now, the Vaxee Xe is going to come in at $70. We can sit here and say, oh, that's too expensive for a wired mouse. Is that? I honestly don't think so. I love Zowie mice, and I stand by their price on it. You got a quality product. That's what you have, a quality, really thought after product. And that's what I feel like you have right here. So I think it justifies it. Now, yeah, I don't like the cable with it. I really don't. I think that lethal cable will probably make it much beneficial. But what I want to see right here, same as I'm putting Vaxee in the Zowie class, right? We need these mice in wireless. Like, you got the shapes. You got the cord down. Vaxee and Zowie, once we get wireless, game over.